Regula, who currently serves as Vice Director of the State Secretariat for Migration, the SEM, since April 2023. She's a member of the Board of Management. Her areas of responsibilities include entry and border regulation, naturalization, residence, and work permits, the free movement of people within the EU, and integration policy. She is co-chair of the Joint Committee on Free Movement of People within the European Union and leads the Swiss delegation in the Joint Committee. Regula Mader is graduate as a lawyer and a barrister at law and completed an executive MBA and a master in applied ethics. Before joining the State Secretariat for Migration, Regula Mader worked as regional prefect of Bern, as CEO of the Psychiatric University Service of the Canton of Bern, and as president of the National Commission for the Prevention of Torture. She was for several years president of the House of Religions, Dialogue of Culture in Bern, and is well educated as consultant and mediator. Please, the floor is yours.
Representatives of the Rectorate of the University of Geneva, Madame Badi, former Minister of Women's Affairs in Tunisia, Dr. Mashrou, former Health Minister in Afghanistan, ladies and gentlemen, dear participants. It is a pleasure to speak to you today about Switzerland's integration policy and in particular about our commitment to supporting refugees unlock their higher education potential. And I could say the same as Anya speaking English in Geneva is special for me too. Allow me to begin by saying a few words about the principles of Swiss integration policy. It is based on 3 pillars. The first pillar comprises the legal provisions which define the responsibilities for promoting integration as a state task. The second pillar consists of programs that help facilitate access to education. And the third pillar is civil society, because integration is a responsibility for society as whole. It takes all of us in order for integration to succeed. Integration requires not only the commitment of stakeholders, not only the commitment of stakeholders in state education and integration support programs, but also the dedication of lecturers, students, and ultimately the refugees themselves. Before I come to Switzerland's specific commitment to promote university access for refugees, I would like to say a few words about the state's mandate to promote integration. Since 2019, the relevant legislation in Switzerland has been called the Foreign Nationals and Integration Act. This replaced what was formerly just called the Foreign Nationals Act. That is not simply a cosmetic change. Under new and revised provisions, promoting integration has become a key task for all state agencies, from primary schools to vocational training institutions and naturally universities. The state agencies responsible for promoting integration, the State Secretariat for Migration and the cantonal integration offices provide expertise and programs to support the regular integration services for migrants. These services contribute towards creating equal opportunities. Our largest initiative to support state actors in education and other players are the cantonal integration programs. In the field of asylum, this initiative is known as the Integration Agenda Switzerland. When we launched the cantonal integration programs in 2014 and the Integration Agenda Switzerland in 2019, promoting access to education was a very important topic. But at the time, access to education first and foremost meant access to basic vocational training. Access to tertiary education was mentioned only by passing. However, state support for integration is constantly evolving. The third phase of the cantonal integration programs, which will run from 2024 to 27, will focus specifically on the integration of refugees with great potential. One of the aims of the 2024 to 27 cantonal integration programs is to support refugees with the relevant potential in gaining access to higher education. This requires the cantonal integration offices, education directorates, and higher education institutions to come together and jointly develop solutions in terms of access and funding. The Horizon académique project here in Geneva, for example, is the result of such a cooperation. We are aware that Swiss academia can present barriers to some students' educational backgrounds. People who flee their home country have to overcome many obstacles in order to study here. War and persecution are constantly forcing people to flee. Our country is currently seeing the arrival of people from Ukraine, Afghanistan, Syria, Turkey, and a lot of other countries. Among those seeking protection are many students who have had to leave their university or promising minds who have been unable to start their studies. Thanks to the integration agenda, Switzerland, the image of low-skilled refugees is no longer valid. Bridging courses such as Horizon académique program at the University of Geneva enable refugees to acquire the knowledge they need to access higher education and gain a qualification that matches their potential. In addition to the Horizon académique program, various projects have been set up in recent years at different locations to promote university access for refugees. Some of these projects are based on individual initiatives. I would like to take the opportunity to express my gratitude to Swiss universities for its firm commitment in recent years. Without its support, many doors would have remained closed to us. Thanks to the dedication of Swiss universities, the management at higher education institutions has become much more aware of the challenges faced by refugee students, but also the potential they embody. From 2024, we want to enter a new phase of cooperation with Swiss universities. SEM is planning to conclude an agreement with Swiss universities in the near future to further promote access by refugees to higher education. The aim is to launch one or more calls for applications for projects commencing in 2025. I therefore invite the universities present today to consider participating in the program. By working together with the integration bureaus, you can discover how to strengthen cooperation. There are already various projects in Switzerland that you can use as a model. While much progress has already been made, there is still, as already Anja said, a long way to go. Finally, I would like to briefly return to the third pillar of Swiss integration policy. At the beginning of my speech, I referred to the importance of civil society for integration. Representatives of student associations are also present today. Certainly, large-scale programs are not possible without state funding. However, we must not underestimate the importance of students themselves, who support refugee students on a daily basis in finding their way around life in Switzerland, which is not so simple. My thanks also go to those students who contribute to integration on their own initiative. I hope that in the coming years, new projects will emerge at higher education institutions. I thank you for attention, and now I'm very happy to pass the word to Mr. Abdelaziz Mohammad, who is also member of the official Swiss delegation in the next 3 days. Thank you very much.
So before giving the floor to Abdelaziz, regarding the Swiss commitment to higher education, I would like to give the floor to Clemens Thuor, who is Deputy Head of International Relations at Swiss University since 2019. He supports and monitors the development of various projects for refugees at Swiss institutions and coordinates the collaboration with the State Secretariat of Migration. He's a political scientist with an academic background in the field of migration and asylum, as well as years of experience at the Swiss Refugee Council. Clemens Thuor aims to deepen the dialogue with Swiss institutions regarding the facilitated access to higher education for refugees and migrants. Please, Clemens.
Thank you very much. I'm not going to take too much of your time. Again, I'm from Swiss universities. I can see there's many representatives from Swiss higher education in the room. So I'd just like to give you some information on this program that we're launching in 2025. Now, as mentioned by Regula Mader, Swiss universities and SEM have been working together to identify an instrument that would allow for a common funding mechanism between the integration side and the higher education side, and in order to support projects for the facilitated access to higher education for refugees in Switzerland. Now, Swiss universities has experience with coordinating a range of programs funded by the State Secretariat of Education for the last 8 years. And we are now going into a third generation of these kind of programs from 2025 to 2028. And it is also my pleasure to announce that in beginning of 25, we will use this existing instrument to combine funds from both state secretariats, from the integration and the higher education side, to launch a program exclusively aimed at the support of these types of projects. Now, concretely, what does that mean in terms of timeline? In the first half of 24, there will be information by Swiss universities on the context of this program, on the criteria, on the dimension of the program as well. And the first calls will then be launched at the end of 24. And with the idea in mind of funding beginning in spring 2025. Now, in the interest of time, I kept it short. If you have further questions regarding the instrument, please don't hesitate and approach me during the break. Thank you so much.
Yes, so as mentioned, don't hesitate. Our speakers will be around during the break. So if you have any questions at that time, you can speak with Clemens. Now, Abdelaziz, so he is a renowned human rights advocate for migrants and refugees. He received in 2019 the Martin Nals Award for Human Rights Defenders and served as a UN Fellow at the Office of the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, engaging in human rights defenders advocacy program, with the International Service for Human Rights and the Global Detention Project. He was a research and advocacy fellow in 2021. Abdelaziz initiated his advocacy while detained in Australia's offshore immigration system on Manus Island. He's the co-author of They Cannot Take the Sky, a collaborative book with fellow refugees. He also created the award-winning podcast called The Messenger. And amongst others, he is also currently pursuing a bachelor degree in international relations at the University of Geneva.
Well, nothing about us without us. And I strongly believe on that. You cannot talk about refugee without having them on the platform. You cannot talk about migrant without including them. So once again, I'm going to quote one of my human rights defender, freedom fighter, Nelson Mandela. Once in a lifetime, he said, education is the most powerful weapon that you could use to change the world. And I believe today, as I'm standing here, through the education, I managed to stand in front of you. It's an honor, privilege for me to stand before you to speak about my personal experience as an Horizon academic, one of the former participants. And also, I'm not only going to say the former participant, but I'm still, benefiting from Horizon academic. So that's one thing that I have to admit it. The Horizon academic program actually offered me not only an opportunity, but it's all for me also a way for me to stand, to speak about myself, not only about my story of the painful story, but also my academic journey. It introduced me to an academic community that I was not even expected to get introduced to. And I have to admit that there are always some challenges that we all face during our journey. Some of the challenges, I will say, back home, some of the challenges that we face in detention, and some of the challenges that actually we face even here in Swiss. And we cannot say only Swiss is all about chocolates. You know, you can always offer you a chocolate and then that's fine. No, there are some challenges and you have to believe that. And I think one of the challenges for me is the first time I remember when I came to this country in 2019. I came with the intention only to participate on the Human Rights Awards and go back to where I came from. Just to show that to what extent the message is loud and clear that not intend to stay here. But then with all ups and downs, with all the other, pressure in a life, I managed to change my mind to decide and stay in Swiss. And then when I decided to stay in Swiss, first thing that I said to myself, I need to go back to uni. And the reason why I say that is because today, refugees and migrants, no matter where they go, with all the ups and downs and the conundrum that we are seeing, they have not been considered as a people who deserve an equal opportunity. They've been considered as like less, despite of their experiences, despite of their academic experiences that they have. We have today some refugees with a PhD. We have refugees that they have handful of master degrees. But in the end, they are whether ended up as like a taxi driver or they're doing some job that they are not even corresponding to their academic journey. And for myself, when I said I need to go back to uni, and I was a bit kind of, I don't know even where to go, from where to begin, without speaking even one word in French language. As someone who speaks English, he speaks Arabic and many other languages, but only French is not the language that actually come up to my mind. And then I have got an advice from the previous participant of the Horizon Academic, the initiator of Horizon Academic, I can say, 2016. They advised me that I should go and do some research on Horizon Academic. I did the research, and luckily, actually, I came across the Horizon Academic. And from there, the journey began. 2019, I started my language as a training. I learned how to speak the language. I earned which is, they call an equivalence to a B2 certificate that allowed me to be admitted at the University of Geneva in 2020. It was during a time where I can say Personally, I have faced so many challenges that to a point that even I say I have to quit, but I realize that I'm not even one of the people that who's quitter. I'm always someone who born from the early age that I'm a freedom fighter and I have to fight for everything that I deserve, it's mine. And I know it's not fair to say that, but it's the reality of the world that we are living on today. Introduced to the University of Geneva, I walked into the university, different environments. It's not corresponding to the environment of the universities in Sudan, where you step out of the university hall, you see people are really debating whether the law students are talking about law, about the violation of human rights that the government is committing, or you can see the political sciences students who are talking about the speech of the president who is violating. So there's a bunch of other stuff. I just realized that this is not existing. It does not exist at the University of Geneva. And I thought of myself, should I think of create something? But then I said it's too early for me because even I don't have a language, but enough language background to speak about it. But brief, I realized that the journey of every refugee, it has to begin whether from where they come from or whether from the country that actually hosted them. And for me, my journey started all the way back. But again, this is only an accumulation to my journey, what Swiss offers to me. And let's talk also about the Swiss integration. I mean, Swiss engagement in terms of the integration and in terms of also education for the refugee. Swiss has played major roles. And I can say, I admit that this could be used as one of the a lesson learned that can be everywhere in other countries. I mean, even within the region. Today we are seeing, not only like in the University of Geneva, but at the University of Zurich, there is a way for the students, for the refugees to get into uni. And I'm also want to ask the head of the office here that to say, I mean, we hope to see this kind of programs that can be extended in all other cantons and all other universities around the cantons. So the refugees should not be obligated to come either at Geneva University or go to Zurich University. So we would love to see it in every other universities. And I know this is also an opportunity that provides an inclusivity and diverse community. And I believe there is a community, this is a real community for me. And I see Horizon Academic also was also one of the, I mean, not only the bridge builder. I think the bridge builder also, I don't know if this is really the right word for me to say, but it's the bridge builder with the Office of Integration and University of Geneva. They extend their hands to people who are really in need of academic qualifications. And I strongly advise, I think, and this is not only for me, myself, but I strongly advise other refugees, comrades, I mean, immigrants who are, no matter whether you are in Swiss or any other country, try to think of a way to go back to university, because education, it's really, it's a weapon, and I strongly believe on that. And also it's through education, we will, I mean, we will also pull ourselves toward a light. We could also earn our place in the States. We can earn our place into the country that's hosting us. And to conclude, I have to say, there's so much has been said, I mean, the previous speakers, there's so much research has been done. But one of my only concern and major concern is that refugees and migrants, they must be included in the political decision makers, because they are the ones who actually have a first-hand experience. Their experience it's a valuable experience. You can learn from them. And the reason why I'm saying that is because when you have refugees advisor in your decision maker or higher meetings, you can even ask for questions and for an advice, such as about the detention centers or about their experiences and what method will be the approachable way that we could talk about the refugee experience. Once again, thank you so much for your time, for your patience, and for listening. Appreciate it.